Okay, we're live in the Leaders Way, and we're here for one of my favorite things we do in this, which is all about putting the spotlight on some amazing women in business that I've had the pleasure and privilege of working with. And today we are very lucky to be joined by the amazing Lynée, who is going to be telling us all about her business, which she is a fantastic career coach. So anyone here listening to these things who knows of anyone looking for a job, Lynée is the lady. But not only is she a fantastic career coach, Lynée has like a whole, what's the word I'm going to say, like toolkit of talents that she has in her armor. And Lynée has done, well, there's not many things you aren't good at, I've decided. But one of the things we're going to be sharing about today is about making sure that you're honing in on your brilliance and getting the support you need. But before we do that, Lynée, would you just mind better telling everyone what it is that your business does?
Sure. Thank you, Skye. Well, I'm a career coach, like you said. So after 29 years in corporate America, I made the decision to start my own business. And I had a strong background in sales. I was in advertising sales my whole career, in sales roles, and then as a sales leader. And throughout 20 years of that, I did a lot of hiring and interviewing and recruiting. And I realized it was a really strong skill of mine and something I really enjoyed. And I was also, on the flip side, a really strong candidate. So I learned how to go out and effectively land jobs. So I've been able to bring all of that experience to bear in my role coaching individuals on how to have a more successful job search, whether that's getting their resume punched up or their LinkedIn profile improved, whether it's doing mock interviews, or even showing people how to search most effectively and efficiently for jobs, because it's changed so much. Many of my clients have a lot of experience and they have been away from job search for a while, so they're quite intimidated by the process. So I help them either in a one-on-one way, or I help them in group coaching to make the progress, to get the support they need, and to get the results they want.
And it's not just people looking for jobs, is it? You also support people with like career progression within their business and how to get promotions and
Sure. Yes. Some people I've worked with have focused on that. I will say most people who I work with are either unemployed and looking for a job, or like they've been laid off, right? In your country, you'd say been made redundant. And or occasionally there are people who are I should say some of the time also people are employed, but just thinking about, I want to move to a new role, but I don't even know how to get from point A to point B. And I just don't feel confident that I know how to do all of this. So most people are doing that, but I have worked with people, and that was something I was quite good at myself as well, was climbing that corporate ladder and understanding how to position yourself well for jobs. They're really two sides of the same coin, for sure.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because you have a sales background, but ultimately when you go for an interview or you put yourself forward for a job, like you're selling yourself.
Exactly. That's
So
right.
sales.
That's right. And so that's, I think, one of the unique, that's been, I think, one of the things that has helped me to segue successfully from what I did to what I'm doing, because I understand it's about selling. And I think that having a very strong sales background and really just loving people, I love working with people. I love learning about people, and I love trying to figure out what are their unique selling points. It's really fun for me.
I love that idea of like thinking about the positioning for themselves, the role. How do they make themselves stand out? How do they make things unique? But the one thing I would say, I've got lots of things to say about you, Lynée, all positive, but one of the things that you were talking about that just really, like, when I think about you being on a call, Hannah says as well, like you've just got there's so much warmth about you and like genuine care that I can see how people trust you, that just need your help, are ready to open up and share with you some of the challenges they're having, and then you really get them. And I can just see why people want to work with you in that way, because you connect on amazingly on an individual and a group level. You just have bring such a sparkle to my program. So I love working with you.
Well, thank you. And I love that. And it is kind of one of my just natural skills, right? Connecting with people. You are much the same. We are similar, I think, in that way that we really connect quickly and easily to people. We can tune in to what's making them tick. And they can be people with all sorts of different backgrounds and talents, but we can really get excited about bringing out the best in them.
Mhm. Okay, so let's talk about when we started first connect. And you know what? It's really weird. I remember where I was when you and I were messaging each other. I was on my sofa. I remember what I was watching. I don't quite remember what I was eating, but I remember I had food on my lap. And you were someone that we'd been in similar worlds, hadn't we? And like in different coaching programs, we had a few what's the word I'm looking for? Mutual friends. But we hadn't really like connected in the way that we have now, obviously. Like, can you remember back in the day, like what drew you to this world and what we're talking about?
You know, we had kind of been, like you said, connected kind of like, not super like indirectly, I guess, right? And I had seen you win an award, right? So, you were somebody who I thought, wow, she's doing great things with her business. And I certainly admired you. So when I saw you talking about your Time to Lead program, you were more prominent in my Facebook feed. I was seeing all of your posts, and I was really intrigued. I think the messaging that you had around it really spoke to me, right? About investing in yourself as a leader, and how you view yourself as a leader, and how you need to show up as a leader, which, you and I both have corporate backgrounds, and we talked about this recently, that in a corporate world, your role is very defined, right? And for me anyway, that was, I guess, comfortable. And when I, moved into a world where it was me, myself, and I, it was very different, and I wasn't able to, or I've kind of had lost a little bit of my ability to think the way I knew I needed to think. So I think that, your program really appealed to me, and your positioning of it, right? You are super genuine. You are very authentic, and you really do care. And I think that I've seen that in being a member of your program. And it is one of the qualities that I can say I haven't seen in most other programs I've been in, is a person who's leading it, who genuinely is in it with you and really makes you feel that they are on your team and really supports you and is tuned into you and understands you. So I think you've really brought a lot of that to me, and it's been a pleasure working with you.
Well, thank you. That really means a huge amount, because that is the basis and the foundation values of why I started this program. And if I'm totally honest, one of the massive fears I had around going to a group was that, how do I do this for lots of people? But turns out we can, and that was just a limiting belief. So I really do appreciate it. But it only happens through attracting kind-hearted, ambitious, talented women such as you, and people who are prepared to be vulnerable back, to care back, to show up, and to show up and do things with me. So, it's very much a two-way street, but I feel really responsible to do this as well, because one of the things we do within Time to Lead, but is practice what we preach in terms of the way we treat our team, we treat our clients is like the same. And I have been in working with clients who have their team have a very different experience to their clients. The clients are all happy and really fine, but the team are like an afterthought. And I'm really big on my team being as important as my clients, and me role modeling the relationship I have with my team for my clients, so my clients can see how to treat their team. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I think that that's my goal too. And I think that was one of my big struggles when I was in corporate, is that I didn't see that there. And it was really how I wanted to operate completely. And I tried to do it within that construct, and it didn't work very well. So all the time.
Well, one of the things that you and I have had conversations about, and I'm quite frank with you at times, I'm like, Lynée, you're amazing, but we're building 10 rafts to cross the river rather than a few. And you are amazing to work with, because you do listen, you listen to me, and you smile when I smile, and you know that it comes from a place of love and care. And sometimes you're like, no, Skye, I'm just doing this. And I totally respect that. But on this journey, you've kind of gone from, you came into our world, like working together, when a launch that hadn't really worked, and I think your confidence was quite low. And I know things like aren't, you're always wanting to like move the goalposts and very ambitious and driven, so things can always get better. But tell me, like, how has your business flowed? Because you've had partnerships, you've had so many things on the table over the last year.
Yeah, I mean, I listen, I think that like the partnership has not, proven to be as good of a thing, right? And that's kind of one of my weaknesses is having external people sometimes, become a priority where and I've continued alongside that partnership to do my own thing and continue to build in my own direction. But yeah, that was something that when we started working together, what I was very deep into, which was, getting things ready to sell through a partnership, but they've not been able to execute because I've come to kind of really see they aren't really full-time in their business. They don't really have the focus and support there, but that's okay because everything that I did is going to benefit me. And so it's helped me to build something I needed to build anyway. But yes, I've had partnerships. I've had, like you said, I had a launch where in February of this year, my intention was to launch my course, or a course plus, like for job seekers, or a course plus coaching program. When I went to pitch it, it was I didn't get great response, so I quickly pivoted. And for my last 3 webinars, I changed it up and created a membership program. So have found that is something that people really like. We'll end up, I'm sure, talking about in as we continue on in Time to Lead, about some modifications that I'm now planning for that to really segment all of my programs so that I have a really great value ladder that makes sense up and down. Because right now I really don't. So, it's now taking all of these great pieces that I've built, right? That's what a lot of my time has been spent on prior to working with you, and even certainly a little bit as we've worked together. But now it's about taking all of that and crafting the program, or crafting the offers that allow me to build the business and allow me to serve my clients, right, in the ways that they want to engage, whether that is in a group program, whether that is in a self-study plus like a coaching accelerator program. There's lots of options. So what I love about working with you is that you've really been always great about providing good little pieces of advice. We talked recently about, vetting out something that I'm planning on selling in a couple of months and making sure that I can do that. So you always have very practical advice. I think that, sometimes when you're in it, you forget these things and you think that you don't need to do them. And maybe you don't, but then you end up learning a tough lesson when you're launching something versus figuring it out before you launch. So I think that you're great about quickly identifying those things that could be, bumps in the road for people, which is super helpful.
Well, you and I are not, we openly share about some of the experiences we've had. People won't be named because it's not helpful, but whereby we were told one thing and it meant a huge amount of investment up front, and it didn't necessarily meet our expectations. And if we had just taken a slightly more considered approach to start with, we would have probably got better results ultimately and not put so much money up front. And I'm big on building businesses the streamlined way. Like, how do you make this simple, as easy as possible, validate it, know that it works, and then find ways to get really visible and grow it and various stuff. And I love that you've embraced that ethos as well, working together too. I completely forgot where I was going with that. Now, I've just, when that happens, something else pops into your head. Well, you probably don't, because you're always so like organized and orderly. Visibility, that's what I was going to talk about. You are incredible on camera, and you are incredible on lives and things. And I know one of your main outcomes we were talking about in Time to Lead was about how do you get more consistent with your content? How do you get more consistently visible and do lead generation organically without it being you all the time? Tell me where you're at in that journey, because I know you haven't completed it, but you're making some exciting inroads.
Yeah, I've, from my business, right, because I'm a career coach and because of the types of people who I've tended to have as clients, this year, while I've used every platform on social, just about that there is, I've kind of refocused my energy and onto LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is kind of my base. So for the last just 3 or 4 weeks or so, I've been doing a live session on LinkedIn. Kind of much like this, right? Just streaming onto LinkedIn, onto my profile, and providing some content for people. Sometimes it's an interview, sometimes it's just information from me, that helps people with their job search. So really utilizing that and focusing there. But I'm also on Facebook and Instagram, and really trying to kind of remain visible, and I do get a lot of feedback from that. Like, we talk about the importance of social media. It is important, and I certainly have heard from a lot of people that they think I've got a great social media presence. But it's a lot of work, and that's one of the things that we've worked on in Time to Lead, and you've also helped me with is I'm rehiring for a social media manager. I've had somebody helping me, but that person wasn't originally hired as a social media specialist. And you also, like, again, brought some of those, to me, common sense things about your business that you need to do, that when you're a business owner, it's easy to get sucked into this idea that you're just kind of, or when you need something, you just do it. You don't really kind of put all of the time and effort in. In corporate, we have job descriptions. That's the one example I'll give. And you were like, you must have a job description if you're going to hire somebody. And I'm a smart person. I worked in corporate for a lot of years, but I really didn't consider that I needed to put that all on paper and provide that to people. And it's made such a difference. So that's been very eye-opening. I've told you that I followed your process for hiring, from the job description to the job posting to the interview process, even though I've done a lot of interviewing in my day. And it was the results I got, the conversations I had with candidates were amazing. And I've got 3 really incredible candidates, and hopefully this week, make a decision on who I'm hiring. But, just some of the things that you shared about what's good for a hire, what would be kind of an ideal situation for you as a business owner versus perhaps the way you've hired before. Really eye-opening things, just that I haven't had exposure to, right? So this is one of the interesting things when we start a business, when we come from somewhere else, whether that's, not, whether you're in corporate or not, but like just starting a business, there's all these little details that I would say that don't end up being the things you think about top of mind, though they should be. So you've been really helpful in providing that focus and providing, kind of shining a light on those things that you really need to pay close attention to, and that will help you at the end of the day grow your business.
Yeah. Well, I must admit, I'm sat here and you've kindly said that to me before. And when you're like, this is high praise. If Lynée thinks that my hiring process is excellent, I'm like, this is high praise. But what I find really interesting, Lynée, and I'm going to do some posts and stuff about this because people know me as a team person, like Skye is the team person. I'm like, no, I'm not the team person. I'm the time person. I create time for people. One of the ways we do that is through team. But people often say to me, and they work with me, like, what if we can't find the person? What if, and I'm like, okay, that's not what this is just about. And secondly, I've never had that problem because it's about being super clear on who it is you need, what is important, but also what's important to you about the skills and how they are as a person, and really defining how do you want to work. And I remember you saying to me, like, this person's coming, but it would mean I have to work late in the afternoon or weekends. No, I don't want to do that. This person, but it means that I won't be able to see them for my strategy time face to face. I don't want to do that. I want to work in this way. And the way you're being like much more decisive about what you do and don't want as well. And I know we're just using this hiring process as one example, but it's not just this example, because you're being like this around the way you structure your business, the way you want to create an offer for someone, how you're going to launch something, and then how you're going to get people, your suppliers involved in launching. You're becoming way more decisive and focused around your your business and the way your business needs to serve you. Whereas, and you know, again, this is always work in progress for all of us. I'm not saying this is the perfect shining example, but when I first started working with you, it was like all this stuff was being done to you, and your time was being split across 30 different things. And there's still a lot of things on the plate, maybe not 30, but it feels like there's a step change in you, Lynée, around you running your business now, and you getting cross with it sometimes, being like, hang on a minute, what, this needs to be different. I don't like this bit. I'm going to change it. And that to me is like, that is like leadership. That is you deciding that this is the way it's going to work for me. And I see that happening in front of my eyes. And, you know, I'm really excited over what we've got coming up and something a bit different to be able to explore that further with you. But would you say that's a fair representation of kind of you?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I think that, you know, that's the other thing. You really continue to bang a drum on the idea of, you know, the doing everything in your business versus being a leader in your business. And it is so easy for new business owners, people who start their own business, to think that, you know, they just need to juggle and keep all the balls in the air. And you can easily get caught up in doing that forever. And what you know, have continued to reinforce is that if you do that, and listen, I've heard that before, but like, you know, I think that it just, you really make it so, you know, I don't know, you just make such sense of it all. And it's just the reality. If you keep doing that, you cannot grow. You cannot. So you have to kind of, like, I think, you know, when we first spoke, you had kind of said, you know, you need to slow down to speed up, right? So we've got to take a look at everything, assess everything, and then figure out what are those things that you're doing. Should you still be doing them? Do you need help doing them? Because that's typically the biggest thing for people, is especially for people who start a business, a lot of them anyway, in my experience, and certainly in meeting the other women in the program, it's, you know, we want to do everything ourselves. We think somebody can't do it as well as us, and that holds us back. And that's really a shame, because like you said, there's a lot of women, not just me, but like a lot of the women you've spoken with who are in your group, who, you know, same thing, you know, and once they get that help and support that they need, once they figure out, here's a good use of my resources and this will help me to grow, really magical things happen.
Thank you, Lynée. That's beautifully said. So Lynée, and how do people come and find you? Because even if you're not looking for a job, I will just say that Lynnée's being in her world just gives you a buzz, and you bring such sparkle to the online world. How do people connect with you, Lynée? What's the best way to find you?
Well, for sure, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. You just my name, just look for my name, look me up by name. You can also connect with me on Facebook, of course, or Instagram. I'm there personally as Lynée Alves. I'm on Instagram as also as Interview Lynée. Need to refine that and kind of combine everything into one account. Haven't done that yet. But any of those social media platforms I'm on and participating in, and yeah, would love to connect with anybody that way, of course. And then my website is interviewlikeanexpert.com.
Oh, right. We'll make sure we get that in the comments as well. Lynée, is there any bit of advice you'd give anyone who, and I often ask this because I have conversations with these women all the time. They are the people who are like, I'm just so busy, there's so much to do, but I'm not entirely sure what's working or not working. I haven't got any time to do a program, although I know I need some support, but I'm scared of getting support. And they're in that kind of catch-22 scenario where they know they need to release time, but it's not happening, and they're scared. And they're on the fence about joining Time to Lead. What advice would you give someone?
You know, of course, I'm a fan. I would say you should join. I mean, I think that the materials you provide, the exercises, the things that you have us think through and do and really assess, really provides a lot of insight. And, you know, again, we don't often take when we're in the doing mode. We are, you know, so being busy that we aren't taking a step back to really consider, what do we want? What do we need? And I think that this program really does help with that. So if I can certainly say that I wouldn't hesitate. You know, I jumped in and have enjoyed every minute of it. I love our calls. They are so wonderful every week. I haven't missed one.
Oh,
I mean, I
yeah.
think there's a testament to a wonderful program when, I can't wait to be on a call with you and the other women. And that doesn't always happen. So not just the materials that you provide, because that's one piece of it, but the accountability that you encourage and kind of, again, help everybody get in the habit of doing is really important. And the truth is that sometimes we just can't do those things for ourselves. We need a little help. We need that support. And I think that you bring this really great balance of genuine care and support, and along with the practical and very specific guidance around how are you going to grow your business. And let's get specific, whether it's with a deadline or with what you're going to do next, or with making a decision to move forward. And so I think that, like you said, I think what you talked about with me, you've seen me kind of move forward in that since I've been in the program. And I agree. And I think if people want to move forward in their business, you can continue doing what you're doing right now, but sometimes you need some assistance. And I think that what you've provided in this program has been really practical, good, solid advice, and genuine and high level support as well.
Thank you, Lynée. Thank you.
Of course.
And if anyone else is keen to find out about Time to Lead, please do drop me a message. We've just opened up some discovery calls with team members as well, which I'm really excited about this week. So there's a couple of slots available for anyone who would like one of those. Lynée, thank you so much for joining me. It's a complete pleasure. And I know we're going to be talking lots more in the future. Can't wait to support you and see your business flourish even more. So thank you so much. And if you've watched this today, do let me know. If you're catching up on replay, let me know what kind of moments you have taken as inspiration from our conversation. And I'd love to hear how you're applying it in your business. Thank you so much for joining us for the Spotlight today.